Now let's talk about Chelsea. Obviously, the most scrutinized club when it comes to this type of stuff. It now seems like the owners want to buy each other out. This is clearly not a healthy situation, hasn't been one for a while. How does this work from here between Todd Bowley and the rest of the ownership group?
Wow, yes, what a big story this has been this week. It's incredible, really. You got Clear Lake with roughly about 60%, and Todd Bowley with roughly about, I think he speaks for about 39%, and though he owns 13 himself. So Clear Lake clearly have the upper hand. What I found fascinating this week is the way that both sides have sort of leaked information to the media to try and get their positions. Todd Bowley's been leaking that I'm presuming it's allegedly leaking that he has been the one that wanted to be more hands off and to put the people in place, the experts in place, the sporting directors, etc., and let them run the business that way. He's saying that Clear Lake have been very hands on and have actually encouraged more people to be there as experts, but then to feed it back up to them to make decisions. A very, very messy situation. And as we've seen, Chelsea, as we've talked over many weeks now, have had a very messy situation. And we've been criticising it in terms of a lack of clarity, a lack of stability. Bowley's been saying that the decision that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was the Pochettino sacking. Bowley is saying he wanted Pochettino to stay. Clear Lake apparently are the ones that wanted him gone. That is, again, I was preaching very clearly that Pochettino should have stayed. Stability is key in a football club. And it's not necessarily the people involved, but it's just getting stability. And that's what's been lacking at Chelsea. Now, the other dangerous thing we're going to be seeing now in the coming weeks is that both these two, while they may be professional around the boardroom table, are going to be spending time on this whole deal about buying each other out. And where's that? Where's the attention that's going to be on where it should be on the football club? It's very frightening, the situation that we're in right now in Chelsea. And with that amount of money being spent, it does appear that people like Clear Lake, who should be hands-off, have got the football bug and have become hands-on. And when private equity guys get hands-on, then it will just drain your whole life force out of you because they want to be involved in every decision. And the very nature of private equity guys is that they're addicted to deals. And maybe that's why we're seeing so many player deals happening there, because they're just loving it and they just they found a toy. I've seen it happen before. I've been around owners that have done that, and they are deal addicts. And so that's the only explanation I can give for what's really happening at Chelsea right now. But for the club itself, everything should come from the top. And if it is, you've got a fractured top, obviously, as we know at the moment. And that's nothing but bad news for Chelsea as a club.
For sure. And by working through this buyout, whether it's Clear Lake, whether it's Bowley, obviously both have an interest in having complete control of the club. Is there any way to kind of help themselves with their PSR situation by buying one or the other out?
I don't think that will actually. Although Man United did help themselves with the way that the Glazers received the Radcliffe 25% money. The club actually managed the cost of that transaction. Maybe Chelsea will try that. Is one late thought that I'm having about that possibility. It was very humorous that people were talking about Todd Bowley trying to sell himself back to Chelsea, which I thought would have been funny. But certainly the cost of such a transaction like this could become a PSR item, although I don't believe it should be, and it should never have been as well for the Ratcliffe Man United situation. But if there's a precedent, maybe they'll try and push it. I'm sure they'll try and craft a way to make some sort of financial silver lining and PSR silver lining out of this. But really, what a mess. And it's becoming a Harvard Business School case study of how not to get involved with a football club.
There's 1,000%. And it seems like everything we talk about with Chelsea is about trying to figure out their way around PSR. Finally, the PL has given official approval to the hotel sales that Chelsea have been used. Obviously, this is a big boost for the club. But how does this work in the future with UEFA having banned this for future seasons?
Well, we've heard, and it was almost a year before that sort of approval was we're told it was given. We still haven't heard the detail of this as to whether it's been given at the full valuation that Chelsea had put on those hotels. It may even be smaller than that, so we don't really know that yet. That's one point to think about. But certainly, look, it's a difficult one to think about, and For Europe, it's going to be a case of, well, I think next season they're not going to be able to qualify, and that, unless there's something else happens. But I don't believe that can be got round now. So UEFA will not allow those hotel deals to be included, and therefore I think Chelsea would breach.
So that basically means unless they can sell major assets that are actually a part of the football club in the next 6 or 9 months, it'll probably be nearly impossible for them to qualify.
Correct. It's going to be a very tight one for them to get in there, and European revenue must have been a major part of their forecast going forward. So let's just watch and see how the Chelsea, soap opera develops. But it's becoming a real shit show.
No doubt about that. And then lastly with Chelsea, Jason Gannon was promoted to president and COO, taking over from Chris Jurasek. What do you make of that?
Well, as I say, stability is always the key in football clubs. From owners, from chief executives, all the way down, you've got to give the manager some stability in the background throughout the club, and let's keep focused on the pitch and the players, and let the manager do the coaching. And I think to have such an upset, I remember Tom Glick was the first chief executive when Todd Bowley came in. I know Tom from his old Derby days. He'd come across from Carolina, I believe, to take the Chelsea job. He only lasted a short time. And now we've got another upheaval on the commercial side. It's a mess. These things spread right through the club, and they don't realise it. And this isn't like a normal investment. I mean, I think Clearlake have got about 50 other industrial investments or other types of investments. This is not a machine factory that just turns out widgets. This is human beings, and they haven't quite got the hang of this, of managing the business with such a human factor. And stability is what is crucial. And I've said it on the management side, and I've said it on the executive side. And these are areas that they have failed in, and they've got to admit this failure, and they've got to try and get this back on track and let people do the right thing over an extended period of time. Only then can Chelsea get back on track.